A Pensive Pilgrim's Spiritual Impressions for April 15th. Our verse for the day comes from the book of Acts, chapter 27, verse 38. And when they had eaten enough, they lightened the ship and cast out the wheat into the sea. Disaster strikes. What do? If you are led by the Spirit of God and not your fear, you will be able to take control of the situation and have your wits about you. As much as we know about the Apostle Paul, we can be pretty sure he was not a master of the maritime. We know that he was a tent maker, and we can assume a very good one. But his experience as a sailor was most likely limited to that of being a passenger. So why then, in the midst of the terrible Euroclydon, was it Paul that appears the most experienced and self-assured, to the point that he begins to give orders to the sailors? Because Paul wasn't taking control of the ship. He was taking control of the situation. Faith in God gives us confidence. It may be the sailors on that ship had been through terrible storms before, and consequently knew by experience that this was one to be feared. This is having faith based on past experiences. Faith is always established by experience, but Paul had experienced the power of the living God and had more confidence in that power than the power of the storm. It made no difference whether Paul knew anything about sailing the Mediterranean currents or meteorology. All he needed to know is that God, that made both heaven and earth, was in control of the storm, and he put his faith in him. So often our storms are impossible to understand, and at times we know so little about how to navigate properly through this life. We don't need to be an expert. In fact, there really is no such thing. It is God we must have faith in, and not the power of the storm.